Welcome back to Code Geass. Last time we saw Lelouch take over a group of terrorists thanks to a combination of a new form of mind control and an application of his chess abilities to military combat, only to be undone by his own friend Suzaku in an experimental new nightmare that we will not be calling Lancelot. We pick up today with the Britannian forces confusedly obeying the prince's order to let the 11s go, while Lelouch still has the prince dead to rights. He brings up what happened to his mother and sister, the attack because she was a knight, but a commoner by birth. His mother, not his baby sister. So the assassins shot up her place. With all the subtlety we've come to expect from them. This happened right in front of the young Lelouch, so naturally it hits him rather hard. So he uses his bird-eye power to make the prince tell him everything about that murder. Schneisel and Cornelia, other members of the royal family, have the answers that he wants. But now, Lelouch is done.
Please, you can't! We may have different mothers, but you and I are still blood!
You can't change the world without getting your hands dirty.
Because its diaper always leaks. We jump from there to Lelouch drifting off to sleep during some work with the student council. But no, it wasn't all just a dream. That'd be a real disappointment. A multi-episode story arc just a dream while he's drooling on his desk at school. Against all the wanton slaughter and destruction we've witnessed in Shinjuku, Millie's determination to sort out the council's issues with all the seriousness of major surgery really seems rather trivial. I mean, we watched a war crime. I'm not really concerned about your budget problems. She even yells guts at them as apparently some kind of magic to try to compel them. Look, when I can't explain it, I just report it.
Actually, it's got me going, Madam President.
Supple and willing, that's what I like.
I train hard in the gymnastics club.
That's not what I was getting at.
If your first thought on hearing that line was, this is going to go someplace dirty, I congratulate you on your astute understanding of Japan.
Huh? You're a 10. Huh? From what I've seen in the girls' bathroom anyway. You've been filling out in all the right places, huh?
That doesn't sound any less creepy just because you have another girl saying it, especially with that look like she's got gaffer's tape in her handbag. After they're done balancing the budget, which, hey, props for a group of high school kids succeeding where Congress has failed, they hear about the devastation of Shinjuku, but no word yet about the assassination of the prince. Because in flashback we see Lelouch did in fact pull the trigger. An interesting moment arises when he recalls that. He throws up. An admission that despite the attitude he seems to present of being cold and calculating, actual warfare in all its ugliness is still something new to him. Speaking of surprising revelations, he recognizes that Colleen is one of his fellow students, claiming illness as a cover for her revolutionary activities. It chafes her to have to play that role, though. She's very much an action person and not a sickly child. But in any event, she now has the attention of Lelouch. He uses his power to get her to spill what's going on. She's half Britannian, half Japanese, but she considers herself to be the latter, and that's why she fights. But one thing Lelouch learns the hard way is that once he uses that power on someone, he can't do it again. So when he tries to tell her not to speak of Shinjuku, she wonders why he would bring that up. This is the second time now that he's tried to use the power and it hasn't worked. So being a strategist, he has now figured out that he should start testing the limits of this power before it winds up backfiring on him. If this had happened with some armed guards while trying to kill the prince, he'd have been for a rather bad day, remember. It's not like you can just switch it off and on and hope that that would sort out the problem. Well, we finally meet up with Lelouch's little sister, Nanali, who is blind but still interested in the origami that the maid makes. She's just a cheerful little kid. Less cheerful is Bartley, who says that because of the failure, this team is being gutted. Though thankfully that's only metaphorical. With Britannia, I honestly don't know. It looks like that magician was their doing, and they recognize that choosing to leave the prince alone was likely because of the influence her power allows. That's a backfire. Accidentally getting the ruler you answer to killed is pretty much the worst kind of screw-up you can have this side of destroying the universe. And even then, at least you won't get any dirty looks afterwards. But Lelouch is just enjoying time with his sister now that the revolution stuff has been paused.
Sorry, I just have a lot on my mind is all.
say if you fold 1,000 of these cranes, your wish will come true.
I'm sure that wish is for a real friend. Colin is really chafing right now with this whole helpless schoolgirl routine and calls up one of her colleagues to discuss it. But the heat is still too high right now to try anything. She fumes over it while in class. Lelouch recites the propaganda of Britannia, that the ruling class is the result of superior breeding, resulting in the ultimate authority figures, rather than half-mad mutations. Colin is starting to suspect that his was the voice on the radio, and if so, then he likely knows who she is and is a threat that must be eliminated. So when Lelouch wants to talk to her, she's all for it. He takes her to the council clubhouse, as he calls it, though it's more like the clubhouse you'd have for an extremely prestigious golf course, like one where instead of carts you have servants carry you to where your ball is. Well, it turns out her presence here is appropriate because it's been decided that Colin is being placed on the council because of her poor health. She can't do other activities like athletics or horseback riding, and I assume piloting giant robots isn't something that they offer. Rivel tries adding champagne to their meal, but the girls think that's just going to get them into trouble. And one thing leads to another, and...
What just happened?
Almost sexual, isn't it, Smithers?
She showers while her clothes are being washed, and Lelouch comes by with some fresh ones for her to wear in the meantime. But she uses the chance to question him while holding a blade to his vein.
Don't play dumb. You brought up Shinjuku the other day. Why?
Why do you ask? Is there something wrong with Shinjuku?
Don't answer my question with a question.
Why? Technically, you made a statement, not a question. The phone rings and he has to answer or else it's going to draw suspicion. And she's shocked to hear the voice that had been on the radio during the Shinjuku battle. She, and we, are surprised, though I am more surprised at the clear view inside her shower, and something which puzzles me, well, I'm not sure how to say it. Colin has no nipples. Again, I have to check these things when I make a show that is SFW, and so I was rather surprised and uncertain. Does showing big, bouncy, bare breasts count as being SFW if they don't have nipples on them? Or is it still implied that it's NSFW? We're really in a gray area here, and so I'm going to err on the side of caution since the whole point of being SFW is that you don't get in trouble if you're looking at it at work. And if you have to debate the issue, I think pretty much even if you win, you've still lost. In any case, this is a recording. Lelouch guessed that she suspected him and did this to both make her believe that the voice is someone else and also to set up a meeting with her in the resistance movement. He covers for her half of the conversation by asking if she's talked about online gaming and covers himself by saying that it's why he brought up Shinjuku, so that no disturbed people that she knows online shows footage to her of the awful stuff that happened there. Meanwhile, some of the Britannians blame Bartlett for what happened to the prince and rip open his nightmare to get him. And I'm guessing it wasn't to give him a handshake. The news has been released and a speech has been made.
Prince Clovis has been taken from us. He fought for peace and justice against all of the 11s.
You mean for all of the 11s. Any more nonsense out of you and you're fired. The one that they're pitting the blame on is Suzaku. He's a convenient scapegoat after all. An honorary Britannian, but still an 11. Explains how he could get in and also why he would do it. He's the oldest son of the Prime Minister. Maybe before the takeover, obviously. Any Prime Minister right now would be deep in Britannia's pocket. So, that would rule him out.